Fat burning tips. How the body burns fat is important to all of us for good metabolic health, insulin sensitivity, and in reducing the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. But for endurance sport competitions, such as running or cycling, how the body burns fat can make the difference between success and failure. The important thing is to make it fun. Sleep. Sleep works twice as hard. It provides your body with the necessary energy and burns calories. Listen to this video, and if you find it helpful, please like, comment your opinions, and share to help others. A good fat burner must burn the stored fats, break down the fat cells, and increase the metabolic rate. Eating thermogenic foods helps burn fats. They work by increasing body temperature, which boosts metabolism and helps burn more calories. These burners often work by stimulating the central nervous system, which can increase heart rate and blood pressure. As your body metabolizes fat, fatty acid molecules are released into the bloodstream and travel to the heart, lungs, and muscles, which break them apart and use the energy stored in their chemical bonds. The pounds you shed are essentially the byproducts of that process. Listen to this video, and if you find it helpful, please like, comment your opinions, and share to help others. Other benefits can include lower blood pressure, lower levels of triglycerides, less risk of heart disease, improved mobility and reduced pain, better sex and less erectile dysfunction, improved mood, better sleep. Listen to this video, and if you find it helpful, please like, comment your opinions, and share to help others. Thanks for watching.
Today we're going to give you 12 fat burning tips that are incredibly easy. Anyone can do these, and the goal is to leverage your actions to create the biggest effect with losing weight. Let's begin with number one. You want to use animal proteins, okay? And you want to do a moderate amount. So I would say the amount of protein of the size of the palm of your hand if you're a female, and then times two if you're male. Now, as far as the carbs, we got to keep that low, because if your carbs are too high, then the body is going to be running on carbs. It's not going to run on your fat. The metabolic switch that allows you to tap into your own fat is regulated by how many carbs you consume. We must keep the carbs below 50 grams. Now, as far as fat goes, I would just not worry about fat. Consume the fat that normally comes with the protein. That's going to set up a foundation to be able to get rid of the hunger and the craving and get you into fat burning. Tip number two, you shouldn't necessarily focus on weight loss itself. You should focus on what's really behind the problem, which is this term called insulin resistance. Now, there's basically four things that cause insulin resistance: too many carbs, eating too frequently, stress, inflammation. When they're constantly consuming something that irritates the gut, a person can develop insulin resistance from that. So how would you know if you had that? And it could be a lot of different types of symptoms, from bloating, burping, belching, indigestion, heartburn, etc. So for number two, what you want to do is make your carbohydrates leafy greens. Okay, like salads. That's the type of carbohydrate you should consume, because yes, there's carbohydrates in there, but it's also loaded with a lot of fiber, and it's not going to be an issue worrying about counting carbs. All right, number three, don't eat unless you are hungry. Don't get into this pattern of just eating by the clock or because everyone else is eating. Really check in on yourself and say, am I really hungry right now? Do I need to eat? Or maybe should I just go longer without eating? Because what's going to happen as we lower the carbs, your body's going to tap into more fat. So now you're eating in between meals. You're eating your own fat, even though you're not eating your calories. It's kind of strange, but you're not going to be hungry. You're not going to crave. So why would you want to eat if your body is being fed? Ride the wave, go longer until the point where you're actually hungry. All right, number four, exercise snacks. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean snacking. It means taking advantage of various things through the day to get more exercise. For example, if you do a lot of computer work like I do, take breaks on the hour, go for a walk for 5 minutes, come back. Take every advantage to get more physical activity. I mean, that's what I do. I live on a farm. I am walking everywhere, up the hill, down the hill. The exercise and the walking is going to be very important to help reduce stress and help you sleep at night. It flushes out the cortisol and the adrenaline. All right, number five, avoiding grains, not just gluten-free, but all grains, because even though there's no gluten in some grains, or even though they took the gluten out of it, those refined carbohydrates, as in the form of the starches and the synthetic sugars that comes from the grain, are going to create a tremendous amount of inflammation in your gut, causing leaky gut, and it could even cause an autoimmune disease. So what they do with grains is they turn it into sugars, synthetic sugars, starches, like modified food starch, modified cornstarch, and seed oils. And also, if you have gut inflammation, that fiber in the grains is going to irritate your colon and create more inflammation, because there's usually always an imbalance with the microbiome in your gut when you have inflammation. In fact, that's probably the thing that started this imbalance in the first place. If you start adding more fiber to a hot, inflamed gut, you're going to start feeding the pathogens. You're going to create more of an imbalance. It's going to get worse. What heals the gut is something called glutamine, and glutamine is in meat. You can also get glutamine in cabbage, and this is why cabbage and meat tends to go well together. All right, number 6, do not let yourself keep any junk food in the house. This is a policy that I created for myself, and I do not let any junk food in the house, because I may cave, and if it's there, I might eat it if I'm bored. It's very important not to be tempted or to even have this junk food available. Talk to your family to try to get them to agree with it as well. Because if it's there, chances are you'll probably eat it. Number 7, avoid locations that you will be tempted, whether it's a restaurant, a social event. I would just avoid those areas, because with those areas comes other people that tend to push junk food on you. It happens all the time. All right, number 8, avoid dead food. I'm talking about food that has been ultra processed or packaged in a way that it no longer has a shelf life, okay? It'll last forever. It's either canned, cooked, boxed, highly refined. Number 9, it's cold therapy. What do I mean cold therapy? Well, you can do cold showers, you can do cold immersions, or you could just, during the winter, be outside a lot more and get cold. Let me tell you what happens when your body gets cold. Your body has this one really important fixed temperature, 98.6. When you go in a cold environment, okay, your body has to fight that hard. It has to increase the temperature as a survival mechanism. So it's going to start burning a tremendous amount of calories from something called brown fat. And the brown fat is going to be activated by the cold and burn some of the other white fat. And it's going to start to waste a lot of calories for one purpose and one purpose only, to increase heat. So here you are, you're in a cold environment, you're not even doing anything. You don't even have to exercise. You're just cold. And guess what? It's going to increase your burning calories depending on how much you're exposed to it. All right, number 10, adaptogens are really good too. One would be ashwagandha. B1 is awesome to reduce stress. Vitamin D will help reduce stress. So all 3 of those are very, very important. Number 11, avoid glyphosate. This is the chemical Roundup Ready in the GMO foods, okay? Let me tell you why you need to avoid this. And I'm going to tell you the foods that are high in glyphosate. Glyphosate acts as an antibiotic, and it's going to mess with your own microbes in your gut, and that can very easily affect inflammation, weight gain, and a lot of other problems. So it's very high in all cereals. It's high in corn, soy, canola, as in all those seed oils. Any wheat products are going to have glyphosate. And also non-organic food. So when you buy commercial like chicken, beef, things like that, guess what they're fed with? Grains, okay? Number 12, and this is apple cider vinegar, because apple cider vinegar indirectly helps you lose weight without really doing anything but just drinking it. It helps your blood sugars. It helps that insulin resistance. Now, to get more details on exactly what to eat, okay, you should watch this video right here.